Hola a todos. Obviamente no estoy allí, pero vamos a tener nuestra clase en este video. Okay, so obviamente I made you a video so that way you can go through these slides and know exactly what you're doing, how to do it. And since we're learning about the present progressive, there are going to be parts where you're going to stop, you're going to try some things, make sure everything works well. Okay, so first of all, make sure, remember for your homework, Paquete Tres, that's due on February 1st, Thursday. Then remember, we're also going to have a quiz on 2-1 and on 2-2. All right, so February 1st and February 2nd, you have a quiz over verbs like gustar, y también stem changing verbs, present perfect, and present progressive. Okay, so what you're going to do is obviously you know you're doing your packet and you're studying, but you're also going to add present progressive to your Spanish dictionary, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So there's no time like the present. All right, so we have basically three different forms or ways that we can talk about the present moment. All right, so por ejemplo, con verbos con er, y ir, you have your presente. I speak, I eat, I live, right? So yo hablo, yo como, yo vivo. All right, también tenemos presente perfecto. All right, so we have our present perfect when you're talking about something that happened, but it happened in the past. So for example, I have spoken, I have eaten, I have lived. You know this is, remember, your form of haber and your past participle, your ido or ado. Yo he hablado. Yo he comido. Yo he vivido. Now we are going to have present progressive. So this one has to do with a very specific a point of time. This is when something is happening at the moment. So because some people will ask, well, what's the difference between present and present progressive? So if you say, yo hablo español, I speak Spanish, right? That's talking about your present ability. Present progressive, if I was like, yo estoy hablando español ahora mismo, I am speaking Spanish right now, right? You could say, sí, yo como comida, pero estoy comiendo comida. If someone was like, hey, do you want to go do this? And you're like, hey, I'm eating right now, okay? And then I live, yo vivo, pero I am living, estoy viviendo, okay? So we're going to learn how to then break this down grammatically. So we've learned obviously our present and our present perfect, and so we're going to add on this present progressive. But let's practice these two first, your present and present perfect. What I want you to do is write 4 sentences in present and their equivalent in present perfect, aka you're going to have a total of 8 sentences. All right, 4 of them will be in the present tense, 4 of them will be in the present perfect, but they're the exact same information. So, por ejemplo, yo juego deportes y me gustan tenis, baloncesto y natación. Right? I play sports and I like tennis, basketball, and swimming. All right, so juego deportes, obviously that is in your present tense, and this is one of your stem changers, your one and only verb that stem changes you to UE. Now, if I want to say this, I have played sports, right? Like I've played sports and my favorite are these 3. Then you say, yo he jugado, right? Here's your form of haber. Here's your past participle of jugado. Deportes y me gustan tenis, baloncesto y natación. Okay? So what I want you to do, pause the video here. In your notes, I want you to write 4 sentences in present tense and their equivalent in present perfect. Okay? So you're using the same verbs, just putting them into your different verb tenses. All right, pause this video. Do it. Come on, pause it. Okay, bye. Now, moving right along, present progressive is a star plus your present participle. So just like present perfect, we have present perfect. We have 2 words to make that verb. And remember, we have 2 words in English. We have our helping verb and your past participle. You have your form of haber in Spanish, which is your helping verb. Past participle, your hado or ido in Spanish. Present progressive also has 2 words. Therefore, we're going to use 2 verbs in order to create it. So present progressive is going to be a form of a star that you're going to conjugate and a present participle. So let's take a look. Obviously, the nice easy part is you all know your conjugations for a star, right? I am, you are, he is, she is, etc. So say these, or you can think them. You don't have to say them out loud in the class, but if you want to, why not? Your yo form of a star is, very good, that is your estoy. All right, then your to form of a star is estás. El y usted form, está. Nosotros form, estamos. Vosotros form, estáis. And your ellos, ustedes form, están. This is going to make the first part of your present progressive verb. Now, the second part is going to be the present participle or gerundios, so gerunds. All right, we use these in English. We use present participles, gerunds all the time, and in English they equate with the ing at the end of a verb. So when you say swimming, dancing, talking, thinking, writing, typing, all of those are present participles. All right. In English, we replace the ending of the verb with an ing. Now, in Spanish, they do the same thing. You're going to remove the AR from the verb. So, hablar. You would remove that AR, replace it with ando. Hablando. All right. If it's ER or IR verbs, you're going to take off the ER or IR, replace the ending with yendo. So, comer, comiendo. Vivir, viviendo. All right. So if you put those together, this is your I am and then doing something, right? You are doing something. He is doing something. We are doing something. Y'all are doing something. They or you guys are doing something. All right. So those are the two parts that you have to have for present progressive. So vamos a practicar con ejemplos. So, por ejemplo, I am eating right now. Try and write that out fully by yourself. You know comer and you know your verb for I am. So put those together using comer with your present participle and then your yo form of estar. The answer is, so if you need to pause this, if you're trying to write it down, but the answer is, estoy comiendo ahora mismo, right? I am eating right now. Then, is she looking at me? Now, this one's a little bit, or is she looking to me? All right, so this is going to be a little bit different because you have this me, which is going to be your direct object. It should be, is she looking at me, not to me? This is going to be your direct object. It's going to go at the beginning. So you put your me, kind of like we do with me gusta, then do she is looking, right? So again, think like Yoda. Me, she is looking at. That's how you're going to say it. And then write it down. In Spanish, it would be, me está mirando. She looking at me, right? So that's how you would do that one. Then, he has studied, but we are not studying. You have two forms here. He has studied, that's your present perfect, right? Your helping verb and your past participle. But we are not studying, here's your present progressive. All right, so try and do that one. Pause if you need to, because I'm going to give you the answer. All right, so we have, él ha estudiado, pero no estamos estudiando, right? Here is your he has studied, but we are not studying. Okay, so that's how you do that. Then this was a phrase I feel like you all needed to know because I hear you saying it. Like they're not dating, but they're talking. All right, so this will be, esta frase es muy importante para ustedes. Y este es presente progresivo en dos partes. All right, so in both parts you have the present progressive. What this is going to be is no están saliendo, pero están hablando. Right? No están saliendo, they are not going out, pero están hablando, but they are talking. Okay? So this is how you do that present progressive. It's very easy, es muy fácil porque like tenéis toda la información que necesitáis. You have all the information that y'all need, okay? So now what you're going to do is we are going to practice this with Spanish Dictionary. So you've got your notes, you've got your sentences. If you're not ready to go into Spanish Dictionary now yet, go ahead and write some examples. You have tons of verbs that you can use. So make sure use those verbs and start making up sentences. Like think about like, I have eaten a lot of food, but I am eating pizza right now, right? I have traveled to a lot of places, but I am currently living in, right? Any of those will work perfectly. Mix it up with your present perfect, mix it up with your present tense. That way you can see how functional and useful this is. Now, yes, ad blocker, maybe later. All right, go to conjugation. I'm on my Mac, that's why. All right, maybe later. We're going to get into this. Then go to your conjugation drills practice now. So tenses, you should have present. You're going to add on your present progressive. You also should have your present perfect on there. All right, you have your three tenses. Remember, you're doing AR, ER, IR, stem changing, and irregular. Now, this means it's going to throw you some irregulars with your present progressive. It's a great way to learn. We'll learn those irregulars, but this will help you with it. Let's see if we roll the dice if we're going to get a present progressive. First one is present perfects, right? This would be your yo he disfrutado. All right. So let's see if we're gonna get a present perfect. Present progressive, yay! Okay, perfect. Usted. So you are calling, all right? Or I'm sorry, you as in formal you are calling. So usted, then you're gonna have your está, right? And remember, you're gonna take off your AR and you're gonna replace it with ando in AR verbs. You'd replace it with yendo in ER and IR. So this would be yo llamando. Okay, perfecto. And this is going into presente. So practice those. It's going to be great. You're going to do awesome.